And Boomer joins us, as he always does on Mondays, on the Harbor One hotline. Hey, Boomer.
Hey, good morning. I hear Jermaine's not in the house today. What's he doing? Taking a Monday off during a football season is blasphemy as far as I'm concerned.
He had to stay home because he didn't want to acknowledge to you that Mac Jones actually looked pretty good on Thursday night.
Mac Jones looked great.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And by the way, the Hunter Henry thing, while it may not have been a touchdown, it was a catch.
Yep.
And the Patriots should have had the ball on the 1-inch line. I mean, I don't know. And yesterday, it probably didn't come across on TV, but we're all frustrated now again with replay and what is a catch and what isn't a catch. And we all thought that replay was really to overturn egregious missed calls by the referees where replay is applied, not whether or not there's a ball that is moving a fraction of an inch. When these receivers who make these great catches week in and week out come down with the ball, and the ball is going to move when they hit the ground. But
Yeah.
they were screwed.
Well, and, they changed the rule, theoretically, in 2018 or what have you. So I don't understand why the officials, even post-game, are sitting there standing up for for overturning that. It's ludicrous.
I think what we need to do is find out who in the hell is running replay for the NFL. I don't even know who is running it anymore. There used to be ex-referees in there. Maybe Walt Anderson's still overseeing it, but somebody is making decisions that don't seem to jive with what's happening on the field. Now, they can make an argument just about any time a receiver hits the ground that somehow the ball is going to move. But when the hands remain underneath the ball, and, I mean, Hunter Henry made an unbelievable catch. And I'll give him the fact that, I understand the rule. You got to come down with the ball. You got to survive the ground and all that other crap. Now, if he's on the sideline and this happens out of bounds, then, yeah, okay, he's out of bounds. I see it, and there's not going to be a reception. But if he's in bounds and that happens, to me, at worst, the Patriots have the ball first and goal on the 1-inch line. So, Bill Belichick will never cry over spilled milk, that's for sure. He'll be crying over special teams, because they had two major gaffes in this game. But, Mac Jones was not the problem. The wide receivers were not the problem. Maybe they didn't run the ball as effectively as they wanted to run it. But at the end of the day, the defense didn't do their job either.
Who would you say this morning is worse when it comes to clock management, Matt Patricia or Tom Brady?
Yeah, Tom Brady did not do a good job yesterday. I would say Dan Campbell gives everybody a run for their money out in Detroit. There's a lot of what we call coaching malfeasance that happens week in and week out. And it's amazing to me that a number of these, like when Brady and Belichick and Josh McDaniels were together, they were almost perfect in the way that they would handle games. Now that they're all separate, there are mistakes that are being made. And I don't know if it was just that triangle of greatness that they had there up in New England all those years, or too much is on Tom's shoulders down in Tampa Bay. Of course, Josh McDaniels does not have, the great team out in Las Vegas. So I would just say it's probably because too many guys have too much say-so in the most important parts of the game.
Where do you stand on Tom? Is he done? Is he hearing footsteps, and are those footsteps the Roomba that is being done by Giselle's jiu-jitsu instructor? What is going on with him?
Yeah, I don't know about any of that stuff off the field. I do know on the field he still has everything that he needs. I mean, he's still a great player, still throws the ball exceptionally well. I mean, quite frankly, 4th and goal yesterday, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers give up a touchdown pass by Jacoby Brissett to David Njoku, and Njoku makes a great catch in the end zone, and then they go on to lose in overtime. So that's a game that they should have never lost. But it wasn't no fault of Tom Brady's overall. I mean, he's playing great. I mean, he still has the arm strength, still has the accuracy, still looks in control, and still looks to me like he could play another 5 years, to be honest.
Boomer, watching yesterday, did Zach Wilson lose his job for the rest of the season when it comes to the Jets?
I would say yes. Mike White played an unbelievable football game against a depleted Chicago Bear defense. Let's not lose sight of that. And, of course, Chicago, was playing with their backup quarterback, Trevor Siemian. So, it probably would have been a little bit different of a game had Justin Fields been out there healthy, doing all the things that he'd been doing the previous 4 weeks. But there's no denying that Mike White had an unbelievable game yesterday. His accuracy in those conditions was unreal. To think that he was going to have over 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns without any turnovers in that weather yesterday was remarkable. So I would think that he's got a firm grip on that. But I know the Jets are not giving up on Zach Wilson. They just need to make sure that Mike White is the real deal, and let's see if he can do it over a number of weeks as opposed to 1 week here and 1 week there. I feel like I'm having deja vu all over again, as Yogi Berra once said, and that is that Mike White did this last year against the Bengals and then basically got hurt after that.
But Boomer, when you sit him like that, don't you have to be done with him?
No, you don't have to be done with him.
He's going to be done with them? I mean,
he may be. He may be. I don't know. That part of it, I don't know where he stands and how he feels about all of this. But he did come out and say late in the week that, his play was just awful. And I think everybody can agree with it. And they were trying and trying and trying with him. But it just never really ever clicked. And the plays that he was missing, and you saw them in the New England game last week, I mean, he's missing wide open wide receivers. I mean, easy throws that any NFL quarterback should be able to make. And the Jets have a really good group of skilled players. And the skilled players were getting frustrated. There's no question about that. Now, this morning we wake up and the Elijah Moores of the world and the Garrett Wilsons of the world and Tyler Conklin, everybody is so excited for Mike White because they all got to participate in the game yesterday. Even Elijah Moore, who I've been screaming about the last 2 years, that he's a tremendous football player that needs to get the ball in his hands, finally got the ball in his hands this week and scored a touchdown. So I don't know. It's a weird dynamic in the NFL when it comes to quarterback. Everybody is so kid gloves, if you will, especially with the young kids like Zach Wilson. But this is Mike White's opportunity, man. There was a guy by the name of Tom Brady that had an opportunity many years ago, and he took advantage of it. Now the question is can Mike White stay upright, stay healthy, and play better than he did last year in the games following the big game that he had?
It's nice for Zach to come out now, though, and say, I need to play better, but it seems like he's already lost the locker room. You've got players liking tweets. You have former players talking about how he wasn't that well liked. And another quarterback who's kind of getting the same treatment, Russell Wilson. Oh. And we keep talking about how we never saw that. We never saw him as an unlikable guy when he was in Seattle. Did you ever hear any rumblings that people didn't like him?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we knew that he wanted to get a contract extension going, back to last year's Super Bowl. We had seen him, and, we have somebody on our staff at CBS that's very close to the Seattle Seahawks. And we kind of knew that Russell Wilson's agent, who's a baseball agent, was in there trying to get a contract extension. And we also knew that the Seattle Seahawks were holding steadfast that they were not going to do that because his play had really deteriorated the last 2 years. He had some good games, there's no question about that, but he seems to be, dancing to his own song. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of players in the locker room that didn't care for some of the actions. And I know a lot of the players that were there with him when they lost the Super Bowl to the Patriots still hold him accountable for that Malcolm Butler interception. And I just, there's a genuine dislike there for him. And when he was traded to Denver, I was like, this is a mess. Now, Denver was a quarterback-starved team. They hadn't had anybody since Peyton Manning. So they decided to give him the contract extension, was maddening to all of us at the NFL today, and certainly to me. So they are in a really bad spot. They're either going to have to fire their coach, because I doubt they're going to eat the contract. But the coach and quarterback kind of dynamic on that team may be one of the worst in the league.
Have you ever been on a flight on a commercial airliner and they've alerted the medical staff because you were going in and out of consciousness, Boomer?
No, so I'm 61 years old. I've probably been on 1,000 flights, and I've never gotten into any trouble regarding any of this crap. I don't know why it always finds Odell Beckham Jr. It's just amazing. I mean, the guy just can't just live a normal life, for God's sake. So I don't know what this is all about. And, of course, his attorney's out there now saying, it's just an overzealous flight attendant. And
yeah. Is he being represented by Antonio Brown, or does he have a different attorney this go around?
Yeah, he should be. I don't know. I really don't know what it is. He's a unique personality, to say the least. I have no idea why he was doing what he was doing, or what he was going through, or what he was taking. But whatever it was serious enough for the flight attendant to feel very uncomfortable about him being on the plane. So they did the right thing. At least in my eyes, at this point, looks like the safety of the other passengers you have to take into account here. And I just don't know why he always finds himself in some sort of situation or some sort of drama away from the field. It's amazing to me.
If you're the Cowboys or the Giants, does it give you pause, or
Oh, the Cowboys love this crap. They're gonna sign him. This has nothing to do with the Cowboys. That really, all anybody wants to know is whether that knee can hold up and whether or not he can run routes. And he's like in a weird spot in his career. He's had 2 ACLs. He broke his leg. He's got a lot of baggage that comes along with him. If he's right and he's 100%, he's looking at these contracts that some of these wide receivers signed over the last 3 to 4 years. He's not getting anything like that, I could tell you.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even warrant a private flight from the teams.
Shocking. That was the most shocking part.
I mean, what a bizarre story. I mean, but it's bizarre, but it's not surprising. That's the thing.
We have the Deshaun Watson return looming. Do you think that he can make an immediate impact for this Browns team? I mean, he hasn't seen game action.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Now he's got to go in Houston and start in Houston. I mean, can you imagine what these fans are going to be like down there if he starts this week? I'm assuming he's going to start. All reports out of Cleveland is that he will start and that he will get reinstated today at some point by the NFL. And you can imagine what Houston's going to be like. I'm sure there'll be protests, and there should be. There's going to be all sorts of boos and all sorts of unkind things said to him, and he's going to have to live through this. It's not going to be easy. I know it wasn't easy in the preseason when he played down in Jacksonville, so this is going to be really interesting to watch. Their season's done. They're not going anywhere. Now it's just about getting him under center and getting him ready for next year.
Pats play my Bills this Thursday. Does that make it a must-win?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. After that, they got Kyler Murray, and then they got to go to Las Vegas and see Josh McDaniels. But when you take a look at their final 3 games, oh, man, on Christmas Eve, they got the Bengals coming to town. On New Year's Day, they got Miami coming to town, and then they end up at Buffalo. So I would say if they want to make the playoffs, they're going to have to go 4-2 in these last 6. They're going to have to get to 10 wins, and it ain't going to be easy.
The question of the week for Boomer is brought to you by McFarland Energy, the always reliable HVAC and home oil delivery pros at McFarlandEnergy.com. In your mind, will Matt Patricia be back next season as the offensive play caller for the New England Patriots?
You guys call him the offensive play caller. Nobody wants to call him the OC because they don't want to pay him, which is amazing. I would say that if Mac Jones continues to play like he did in Minnesota, and I think the last few games he's played really well. He's completed a very high percentage number of his passes. He finally looks totally healthy coming back from that injured ankle. So I'm assuming that they're going to continue to play well. And by the way, Buffalo may not have Greg Rousseau, and they're not going to have Von Miller. So 2 of their best pass rushers may not be playing in this game, which should bode well for their passing game.
Yeah, over the weekend, it's interesting. Courtney's zappy fever went away.
It's still there, just subdued.
It's very interesting.
I like how Courtney's all wrapped up in these quarterback situations.
I'm fascinated by all of them. It's just feed me all of the storylines.
I know the drama surrounding them, and Courtney, to make you to warm the cockles of your heart. I was in about 4 of those drama-filled situations. So, yeah, I know exactly all about what it feels like to be on both sides of the equation.
Listen, big news for Courtney and the hubby. They're getting a dog.
We are.
All right, good.
Yep.
Is it going to be? Are you getting a designer dog, or are you going to get
of course she is.
Oh, you are.
Yeah,
a Labradoodle.
Yeah,
Labradoodle. Okay,
comes home the 19th. We're very excited.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, you can't even let the thing go outside. It's so tiny and so
he's gonna
precious.
Be rugged.
Yeah, he's going to be an indoor dog.
Now you're going to know what responsibility is because you're going to be living your life without any.
I know.
All right, Boomer. Well, Thursday must win for the Patriots. We will talk to you again on Monday, and thank you as always.
All right, hey, give my best to Jermaine, okay? Tell him I missed him.
We will. He's using flex time to its full advantage. He and Shime, the 2 of them.
All right, guys, take care. See ya.